support for us to say something, inshallah. Alhamdulillah, with his himmat, the himmat of Sultan al-Awliya, although we live very far away from everyone, to be on top of a mountain quietly, but people are looking and they are searching and they are finding us and they are coming. We have nothing to offer from the dunya. But our Seyh is the servant of the most generous one. So he has everything to give from the akhirat. And dunya comes with it too. As everyone knows, Shaykh Maulana and Seyh Efendi has been speaking about Akhir Zaman and what is going to happen in the Akhir Zaman to this world. Not 1 year or 2 years. We were to say maybe 50 years. In Shaykh Maulana's life, all his life he has been speaking. All his life, Shaykh Abdullah has been speaking. All his life, all the earlier grand sheikhs has been speaking about the signs of the Akhir Zaman. The Prophet ﷺ has always warned his Sahabi Kiram about the tricks and the traps and the fitna of Dajjal and what is going to happen in the Akhir Zaman if the signs are all there. So there are some who is following this way and they wish to be here physically, to live close to the Dergah. Our Seyh has always encouraged people to come and to live close to the Dergah, with or without the disaster that is going to happen. By the way, disaster is going to happen. You don't have to be a saint or a scholar to understand. All the nations of this world, number one, the Muslim nations, they are arming themselves, following the Western nations who arm themselves just to blow up this world 100 times over. And everywhere we see is boiling. Every country it is boiling. And those who are holding on to the faith is as if they're holding on to the fire. It burns them. Prophet ﷺ said that 1400 years ago. Faith in the Akhir Zaman is going to be like a fire, like a burning coal in your hand. You pass it from one hand to the other. Pass it from one hand to the other, but you cannot drop it. So, for those who wish to hold on to their faith, it is good to make the intention to move. But the intention is not just to move, to run away from the fire that is going to come. The intention must be to run away from the fire that is around us and inside of us. Because if you're not getting rid of the fire that is inside of you, wherever you go, there is going to be a fire. You go to a Jannat, it's going to be a fire. But if you have already a peace in your heart, a submission, you have Islam, you have the Jannat in your heart, that time you can go to the middle of a fire, and in the middle of that fire is going to be a garden of paradise. Just like Ibrahim alayhi salam when he was thrown into the fire and he said, Hasbinallahu wa ni'mal wakil. So the matter is not to be physically close or not. The matter is to make your heart to be connected to the Dergah, to be connected. Because there are people living in the Dergah as they had lived in the Dergah, as in so many Dergahs, as in all the centuries that have passed where sheikhs, they have Dergahs. There are people there living in the Dergahs physically. But their heart is very far away from the Dergah. And they're just looking for one day to escape. May Allah not test us with that. But it has happened before. We cannot say definitely it's not going to happen. If we are not careful, it will happen. If we're in ghaflat, it is definitely going to happen. If you're watching out for it, Inshallah, it will not, because we are being careful. So, you may want to come to the Dergah, but the heart must be ready. The connection must be there. Because otherwise, if you are coming to this circle, the circle of zikr, but you are going to enter it with your ego, that time it is not going to be a blessed area for you. The area is still going to be blessed. People are still going to be blessed, but the blessing is not going to reach to you. Hazrat Rumi, Karazlar Sir, is saying, come, whoever you are. You're a fire worshipper. You're an idol worshipper. You broke your promises 1,000 times. Come. Because our Dergah is not a Dergah of despair. There is still hope. But come, but leave your ego outside. Don't come with your ego. Those who really wish to come to live in the Dergah, but by order they are being sent somewhere else to do some work and to stay connected, that time don't worry. Whatever, if the whole fire is reaching to the whole world, where you are is going to be one little garden of paradise. The dome of Allah will protect you that time, and they will send someone to pick you up, to make emergency landing and to pick you up and to save you. Don't worry. If it is physical preparation for things that are going to happen to this world, you don't have to be a believer to be physically prepared. There are so many unbelievers who are prepared 50 years ago. They have built complete cities in the mountains, under the ground, for anything that happens, and they're going to run with some few people, not you and me. We don't count for nothing in their eyes. Important people, they can just go and they can live very good. So the unbelievers, they are more prepared than the believers. But Allah is not going to accept that. Because those who are going to be saved in the last days are those who are putting Allah and His Prophet priority. Those who are believers. Not just by name, Muslim, but those who really believe. And you'll find at that time there are many that don't have the name of Muslim, but they believe. As it is now, there are so many with the name of Muslim, but they don't believe. May Allah save us from that, inshallah. So keep your heart connected. Prepare that first. Then there are so many ways to keep you connected. We are servants. We are trying to serve. Find a way to serve. At that time you'll be connected even stronger. There'll be more protection and blessing, inshallah, that time.